As of 16 November 2016, Nigeria's population was said to have hit 182 million people, and more than half of that number constitutes the youths. Over the years, the youths have formed an integral part of our electoral process, but not in a way that we can all say we're happy, because when you talk about electoral violence, the names that readily comes to mind are the youths. Today on the program Politics Today, we're looking at the youths in 2019, ending electoral violence and votes buying. My panelists on the program today, I'd like to thank very especially Comrade Collins Amadi Osegale, a civil society activist, is also a politician, former senior special assistant to the state governor and youth on community mobilization. Comrade, many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much. Viewers out there, good morning.
We have with us in the studio as well a businessman and a politician. I'd like to thank very especially Egosa Bonifo. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me here.
I have with us in the studio the President Network of Civil Society Organization, is also a lawyer and a frontline civil society activist in Edo State, Barrister Abraham of Yahweh. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
We have with us in the studio another activist, Michael Jihegman. Michael, many thanks for joining us on the program.
Good morning, Sonny Du. Good morning, Edo State.
Okay, let's start from the very basics, which is that in our political process over the years, violence has been synonymous with it. But we are saying that violence is not what we need for our election. Our youth should come out and vote and not participate in violence. But let's look at, what would you say are the factors that predisposes the youth's involvement in violence in an election?
Thank you very much. In a growing democracy, you will expect some skirmishes anyway when it comes to electionary time, either campaigning time and even the voting itself process. But just as you said, we will always appeal time immemorial that our youth should participate in the voting and not get involved in the violence. If there will ever be violence, it will still be the youth that will play that card. But just to say that this violence will come when some persons are supporting a particular person, sometimes not even youth like them, you know, to emerge, based either on the desperation of the person in quote that they are supporting, or promises made to some persons or the youth leader who are helping, you know, to draw the line of support for a particular candidate. We want to do everything within and beyond his capacity just to make sure they win. Based on this, you will expect some level of violence to come in. But just to say that when we get things right, if not 100% right, near right, when it's a little bit fair and it's obvious sometimes, you know, to the one losing that I am being asked out, or I'm not being voted in by the people, and it's made obvious, I am sure that can help us, you know, to curb or manage the intended violence that would have. But in a situation where Mr. A is winning clearly, and someone somewhere is trying to play fast, sometimes you also expect to see violence, more especially with the expensive nature of Nigerian politics, where you have put in so much. In some cases, you have sold a lot of properties. In some cases, some have even gone to mortgage all they earn all their life. And someone somewhere is just coming and telling you you are not won or you are not winning, even when it's obvious that you are winning. So in cases like this, you will expect to see violence taking place. So
that's manipulation of the electoral process.
Yes,
can lead to violence. Okay, let me come to Egosa. Often than not, when we talk about electoral violence, there is this tendency to blame the political class for being responsible for why youths get into electoral violence. What are your thoughts along those lines?
Yeah, thank you very much. I was listening to him. I like addressing the root issues. First, it has to do with the political parties, because if the political parties are ready to serve a candidate that is credible enough, that is accepted by the people, there will not be violence, because at the end of the day, we want to serve the people. A situation whereby you give it to the wrong person, that's when you now see that they want to fight for the position. So the healing starts from within. I keep on telling people, if we want to get it right in Nigeria, it's the political parties. First, it's the political party that will serve candidates that will deliver for the people. So it starts from there. So if we must get it right, every right-thinking person should go and register in a political party. That will reduce the violence. Because if we start serving people that when they come out, their policies and their body language is tilted towards serving the people, you will not have violence at the end of the day. These persons will accept the result the way it is because they were really asked to serve. But when you give a desperado, somebody like you said, that somebody that went to sell his house, because of the political party, if they give you a level playing ground, a situation whereby a political party wants you to spend up to 10 million, 20 million to get it just to the House of Assembly, what is expected of that man? There's already desperation. So the healing starts from within. I'm not scared to say that if we must get it right, the political party need to pour themselves all this greed of wanting to take a particular candidate through all the difficult areas that will not make the person vulnerable to all sorts of ideas that, oh, when I get this party nomination, they will be do or die during the election, because I've spent a lot to get this nomination. During the election, I will still spend a lot. So if I don't get it, I will induce the youth to fight. So if we must get it right, the political parties, our leaders need to start thinking on best way to win election by acceptability from the people, not by financial inducement. Okay. So we need to start healing ourselves from within, from the parties. Okay. By so doing, we'll deliver on the dividends of democracy to the people.
All right, Barrister Abraham Obiawe, there's a feeling that most of our youths are pauperized. There is hunger, and that all of these predisposes them to getting involved in electoral violence so they can get some money to take care of stomach infrastructure. I don't know what your thoughts are along those lines.
Yeah, we must appreciate the fact that when we talk about electoral violence, you must agree with me that involving in such violence is to achieve a certain purpose. You just find youth fighting, trying to destroy the system because of no interest. So it's usually a product of interest. When there's violence in the system, it's geared towards protection of such interest. And the argument is that we'll continue to find this in our political jurisprudence until we bring the issue of who leads the people, until we make it an intellectual issue. When we leave it at the, when violence, the number of persons you bring who have the capacity to shoot guns, the number of persons you put around you have the capacity to make noise, and even though you are not from that area, as long as they are entrepreneurs of violence, the people assess if your candidate will get it from the number of political talks you have in your arsenal as a basis for determining if your interest will sail, will continue to find electoral violence. But when we reduce who is going to be enthroned as a from the product of election, if we subject it to an intellectual discourse, not just that the man is credible, yes, he won't steal funds. What is his capacity? Because it's about capacity to lead. If not to continue to recycle these individuals who have the capacity year in, year out to procure the services of entrepreneurs of violence, they'll continue to bastardize the system. And make no mistakes about it. When this political class gets into power, they are also very tactical as to what gets to the people. To make the next elections attractive to these political talks. Because when they suddenly realize, and I told somebody, I was somewhere and I saw over 8,000 youths. They were standing, they stood from 10 a.m. to about 3 a.m. waiting for a political leader to come to enable them involved in what we call praise singing. And I told myself, such political leaders come and is happy that these people have come to welcome him. Why don't he go back to his house to tell himself, if I have created a job for these individuals, they will be in their place of work rather than be here. And when you, if they are very busy with work, which in turn builds the capital of the state, which in turn increase the workforce of the state, which translates into profits depending on where they are, they will not have that time to be doing what ordinarily they do. How about those who go to rob at night? When you get them engaged in the day, they'll be too tired to go and rob at night. They'll be thinking of the next day. So therefore, you continue to find this issue of violence as long as the political class, as long as political parties, as long as analysts do not major on issue of politics, issue of who represent us, until you bring it down to an intellectual discourse. Because leaders should be those who have first amongst equal, those who have capacity to think beyond the ordinary, those who can think outside the box, those who believe in sovereignty, those who believe that it is the people that have the mandate. And when the people are polarized, like you have rightly stated very clearly, it is easy to cajole them. And until we need that in the board, the issue of vote buying will naturally not fly. So it is convenient to electrify the system with talks. Get your candidate in by way of primary elections. You have messed the place up. Your party is blackmailed to give it to you because you have talks to cause problem. And they know when they get into the elections, they have the financial reward chest to buy the vote of the people. We continue to recycle, continue to lament those lamentations which the book of Lamentations have already spoken about.
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister Abraham of Yahweh. Let me come to you, Michael. Would you subscribe to the thoughts canvassed by some analysts that the level of political education amongst our youths is very, very low? And this is one of the reasons that encourage them to be part of electoral violence. Would you subscribe to that?
Thank you, Mr. Sonny Duke. So, what we're talking about here, because John C. Maxwell said, as a leader knows the way, shows the way, and follows the way. In as much political education is key when it comes to election, so therefore, young people must take it as a point of duty and a point of responsibility to also follow issues as regards the politics, because we have various government agencies who are saddled with the responsibility of political education. So there's a disconnect between the political party, the organization responsible for political education, and various youth organization or youth as an individual. So, Mr. Sonny Duke, I would not subscribe, because there are various levels of political education. Okay. So what we should be talking about here is the level of political participation in terms of political party. Because political party, because for you to come into election, you must go through the political party. Because the political party has not really been on ground as regard youth inclusion when it comes to governance. Because when such is being put in the right perspective, I think the level of violence or political education will be there. Most of the party flag bearer, what are they doing? Because most of them, you check their manifesto, even their manifesto does not show the inclusiveness of young people. So therefore, they didn't do well for the youth. What we are now saying is that in as much there's violence, specific section of violence, so therefore, young people must deem it necessary to shun all form of violence and begins to engage the political party on the basis of intellectual discourse. When such intellectual discourse is put in place, relevant questions will be asked. And once such is asked, therefore, the political party or the flag bearer will now know that the young people are politically conscious. So, and therefore, if the youth are also economically balanced, because they also rise in the gap that we will do this, we will do that. At the long run, because I think Article 22 of the African Charter said every colonized and oppressed people shall have the right to free themselves from every bonds of domination. So therefore, the youth must react. So therefore, political party a political party and political flag bearer must do the needful as regards political consciousness, as regards youth participation.
So you're saying, in effect, that the political parties and the candidates, they've not done enough in terms of political education?
Yes.
Okay, I expect you to disagree. Yeah. Yes, what are your thoughts in disagreeing?
You see, I've been to several political meetings. It is open for everyone. The youths are distracted.
By who? By what?
They are distracted by, there's this, they are not composed, they are not, the youths don't want to go through the process. They just want to be there overnight. Okay. Because if you go to the political party, for instance, you want to get the party card, they will give you freely. If you come to the meetings, they will accept you. You will see the older ones participating. You want them to come and give you power in your house. Go there, say anyway, if you are interested, come outside. I've been saying that if you are a youth, you want to be member of any political party, be it this party or that party, go to your ward and get your party card. Nobody will chase you out. We are not interested. That is the problem. It's not the party elders that will now come and beg you to join. They are tired and they want us to take the center stage, but they don't see us as serious people. And the professor was speaking from Kenya. He said the generation that is coming now will be worse than this generation because we have already seen the stealing of our elders and we are planning on how we will steal ours. So for me, I believe that the youth need proper orientation. We shouldn't pet things because I'm a frontliner. I've seen it all that these older ones, they don't believe in us because they see that, okay, for instance, you see our parents, how they grew through the process. You knew how you grew to this level that you are. Yeah. How many youth want to pass through this your process? How many youth want to plant cassava and see it grow? So for us, our orientation is changing. We want to just be there overnight. Instead of passing through the process. So
there's a process.
There's a process to go about it. If you want to be a political party member, go and get your card from your ward level. Nobody will tell you are too young. So
let me pause you there because we're talking about the role of the different stakeholders in terms of discouraging electoral violence, which of course we know is something that is mostly associated with the youths. So would you say the political parties have done enough or are doing enough in terms of political conscientization of the youths to discourage them from electoral violence? He said the political parties and the candidates are to blame. He said the youths are not even ready. And so the leaders or the elders are a bit skeptical. What will become the future of this country if we leave this responsibility to these youths? And he said that they are tired. They are tired. They just want youths to come, but the youths are not coming. They are not forthcoming.
I really wouldn't want you to waste much saliva on that.
Yeah.
Because as a very young man, by the grace of God, I have been queuing with the leaders, and I am still much.
You have gone through that route.
I am still on it.
Okay.
I have been on it, and I'm still on it.
Okay. So what are your experiences like?
No, just to say, because one, sometimes we keep blaming the youths. Sometimes you were expecting me now, you just drew a question. The political party, have they done enough? Now, in a system or in the kind of Nigerian context we are finding ourselves, you expect one political party to encourage his youth not to be violent when the party itself is desperate to win an election, for example, and you know party A or party B is so much associated with violence. And there are some people there, if someone like me, by the grace of God, who have gone through a lot of nitty-gritty, from my age down, like, okay, you went to school, helping yourself and all that, all to a certain level that I am, I may not be predisposed easily to do things I wouldn't want to do.
Okay.
Maybe seeing where I'm coming from, seeing how patient I have been. You see, at this age, I should soil my hand. So I should a little bit be guided. Though that doesn't mean the system pushed you to a certain level, you may not take some other decisions. But we have not, and we are praying not to take those kind of decisions. And now, Party A is being very violent. And your party is bringing a man who are claimed not to be violent, also known to them not violent. And now he's capable, he's fit, he even has some finance to assist, and they give him or her a ticket to run for an election. They go there. There are umpires who ought to be neutral. They take side and people come in and molest them completely.
The vote of the ordinary man at the end will not count for that professor or that man who has shown some level of decency all these years. And the institution that ought to make it decent still sits down right to your face and announce the other man, even when it was glaring that they were being coerced, that their hands were tied, and he wins. Then they try to be also purified again, because we are wanting us to build a system that will grow so our children will inherit a good system. They bring in another candidate again that had gone abroad and come back, maybe have some decency in the political terrain over there, and he comes maybe with some good money too. He was able to share that. At the end of the day, you give him or her a ticket. He also goes to the field based on your own decency kind of politics. He does not want to encourage violence. This system, INEC and other institutions that are supposed to also help guide what the people have just said, also join, for example, and do it the other way. And now, what do you expect of that same party the next time?
Are you saying
they will
that
go back and encourage those ones who have small money and are also thuggery in nature, so that it will be talk for talk, money for money, rascality for rascality,
and vote for vote.
And we have seen it happen
so you're
in this country over
so you're
the time.
saying the political parties have not done well in terms of political education, or you're saying that the political parties are encouraging electoral violence?
Not just them, the institution of the Nigerian contest, as it were, have discouraged even political party who tries to make attempt to see a system that will work.
Okay, let me push it.
And by so doing,
yes, let me push it there. But I'm sure you've been listening carefully. Because with on test now, or on trial now, are the institutions of our electoral process in terms of discouraging electoral violence. What are your thoughts? INEC is there, the political parties are there, the security agencies are there, and then of course the candidates and the people. What are your thoughts?
With deepest of respect to these institutions, I make bold to say we currently have a rotten system whose effect is oozing terribly on the Nigerian people. Just to say very strongly that political parties today are formed without ideology, and it's across board. Anyone who intends to generate any ideology, we have had political parties who lamented ab initio that one man, one vote, say no to anti-corruption, change that particular system which believes in violence and thuggery. The people's vote must count. Say no to godfatherism. Say no to thuggery. One man, one vote. But few years down the line, you in the media, you are in a better proposition to know how that currently is just now. What I am trying to tell you, that what we have as what we call political parties, a conglomeration of the ungodly who indeed in themselves wallow in pretense. Just to say very strongly. And the other institutions have tailored themselves into this arrangement to the extent that they now see it as a way of life. What do you make out of it? Where police officers are invited to a political rally, and in their own face, a young boy brings out a cutlass to machete another one. The police tell you na political issue. It has such occasionally grievous bodily harm. That is the offense. That person ought to be arrested. And let me give you a very vivid example. A senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was harassed. His cap was taken at the airport. It was shown on air. Have you asked yourself what have happened to that person who was seen that day? Has the person been charged to court? The offense was committed with the president of the #1 security officers of this state, both the one who is the chief security officer of the state and the one who is the president of the IG here. It happened in their very eyes. As that young man be charged to court, then tomorrow you want that same senator to be coming back. And you want him not to also look for entrepreneurs of violence. How do we recruit these people? We improvise them by not giving effect. I have continually giving effect to a situation that says when people are engaged, when the system runs properly, they will not be part of this entire arrangement. It's like asking me to not be a thug to a politician, how many books has he read? What is ideology about the Nigerian state? What does he have to offer that I cannot contribute to him intellectually in terms of taking this country to the Eldorado, let alone not being his political talk? It's not about age. Those conversations who involved in this, they are older than us. It's about ideology. That ideology political parties in Nigeria do not have. There is no difference between the entire political parties we have in Nigeria, particularly those who have tested power. They have shown to us that power is like a bottle of alcohol. I can only drink that has 99% content of alcohol. When you use it, you are done. Let alone drinking it. All those who have tested power, they have shown. And let me also tell you, to see that the National Orientation Agency, let me tell you, patriotism and the franchise, that is the right to vote and to be voted for. Yeah. Patriotism means I must not do anything that will distort the institution, that will distort the process with which our country will be strong. Okay. That is patriotism. The National Orientation Agency ought to do this as a routine engagement. And if you ask them, they will tell you that this nation state Nigeria didn't budget for them, but they can budget for lunch for the office of the president and government to billions of naira. But they think they don't have any budget. You are in the media. How many jingles have the National Orientation Agencies brought out? Just this year alone, with respect to civic responsibility, go and get your PVC, go and cast your vote, do not buy it, do not sell it, do not offer. The implications, how many have they done? And we sit up there and say the Nigerian state is working. Like I've said and I'll continue to say, it is my prayer that this combination of individuals who have plunged this country into where we are, they should be confronted with rapture. Therefore, a new generation will rise up who must pose yourself from that situation upon which those were confronted with rapture, and that will take this country to the next level.
All right, Michael, I'd like to also get your thoughts along those lines in terms of the roles of institutions in the electoral process to either encourage or discourage electoral violence, which of course we've ascribed to the youths. He mentioned the National Orientation Agency. Can we quickly talk along the lines of INEC itself and the security agents? INEC, for example, has a budget of over 189 billion naira for this election. The total budget for the election is over 200 billion naira. Questions are being asked in that direction already, but I'd like to get your thoughts along those lines.
Mr. Sonny Duke, you see, when it comes to election or governance, they are agents of government who have been saddled with the responsibility of credible elections. And one such is the INEC, because INEC is an institution, and we have the security agents, the security agency as an institution. Okay. Because several times you will see a very big disconnect between INEC and the police. My comrade here, my brother just mentioned the issue of electoral violence as regards the thuggery in terms of arms ammunition in a voting center. You see, when civil society activists begin to discuss the issue or ponder solutions to this issue, one or two persons will raise an issue that they are being sponsored or thereabout. So therefore, INEC and institution must begin to do the needful. What is the needful that we are talking about? Begins to talk to the political parties, engage relevant stakeholders so that we can build credible institutions. Because as we speak right now, the Nigerian state is building an individual, not an institution. Because if you go to other climates, like the US and advanced democracy, you see an institution from your own view. But here, one man can just wake up and say, change the vote, because the man or the political warlord has seen himself as an institute. So we must begin to change the narrative as civil society activists, even as youth activists, to begin to advise government or begin to advise institutions and begin to do the needful, because we must rise up and we must speak. This is our country. We are not living in America. This is our country, and we must begin to bring relevant ideology so that institutions can begin to take place. so that we can have credible 2019 election and the youth can stand and uphold the tenets of democracy.
Thank you very much. If you just join us, you're on to Politics Today on independent television and radio. You can also follow the program live on our website from any part of the world, www.itvradionnigeria.com/live stream. You can tweet at us at ITV Radio NG. Let's quickly cap it up with electoral violence because I know the course will start coming any moment from now. The feeling that because of lack of punishment for those involved in electoral violence, this culture of impunity has continued over the year. Let me get your thoughts on that one, Collins.
Sure, you will certainly agree with me. If someone comes and slaps your mother and he goes free, another person will come and slap your father and will also go free. So it's just a simple thing to know. But it's only when you are in an opposition. Yeah. For example, you commit an ill against the state, as it were. I mean state as international relations country, you know. Let me put it on the normal local style. You know, then you can go in for it. You can be, you know, held responsible. Maybe along the line, you can also negotiate your way out. You know, either to not join the ruling government and you'll be asked out, or you remain where you are and remain in jail, you know, in many cases. But we must continue to emphasize and re-emphasize the reason why our institutions must be an umpire that will not be seen destroying the same country they are meant to help build. Because the reason is very clear. You will agree with me, even if someone gets involved, you know, in an action that is inimical and is being held and reported to the police, and from the police is taken to the courts, and it is the court then who certainly gives the final say whether to be persecuted or to meant to serve a certain jail term, which certainly would have been enshrined, you know, in the constitution or in the criminal act, as it were. You know, our barrister here can help us, you know, elucidate a little on that. But if in a situation where red-handed you are caught with arms, weapon on an election day, even on video, and at the end of the day nothing happens to you, the same court comes to say you have no case to answer. Then you ask, who is the judge? And there are some of these judges who have made some very silly decisions, silly decisions during the course of their actions or managing cases, and the media are not really facing these people to know their name and know the case that came before them and how they finally make their resolution. Okay. Because some of these cases, they just do it the way they want it. After all, their name are often not heard. Okay. And in most cases, they don't even allow the So
you're blaming the judiciary now.
They have a vital role to play. Just as we speak on the police, it's not just only the police. From the police, it ends at the court. Even if the police try to shield some things, at the end, they usually still send it to the court.
All right,
so we are expecting the court.
Let me get your take on this, Rosa Agbonifo. This situation where, you know, people don't get punished. That's the way it seems. I mean, I've heard instances where people, I mean, you hear some security agents say, well, we were sent there to observe. We were sent there to observe. And instances where such people are picked up, the case doesn't go far. Yes, let me get your take on that. Is that a concern to you? Because you are active on the field now, I'm sure.
Yeah, you see, my concern now, we are talking about electoral violence. It has shifted to vote buying. Okay. So the last election in Ekiti, you know that money was spent and there was no violence compared to before. So
does that mean when we spend more money, then there's less of violence?
The politicians, they've created poverty and they brought another dimension of buying votes from the people. Okay. So for me, I like tackling the root cause since I'm an insider already. Okay. But I don't want a situation whereby 8 years from now, somebody start blaming me of the same thing we are talking about. Okay. If we must get it right, it's from the political party. First, the kind of candidates they want to serve the people. For instance, Barrister said something that you don't expect him as a person to go and be a political talk to somebody. So now when you are doing your checks and balances, you should check the kind of person that want to represent you. By the time you give somebody that already has that tendency for violence, that is where you have the problem. So if we don't solve it from the root, saying that at the end of the day, the judiciary, how did it get there? If you solve it from the root, we will not have the issue of not dealing with the police and the judiciary. Okay, we must first of all treat it before it becomes cancerous.
All right, let me get Barrister Ofiawe in here, because some legal aspects are now coming into it, that you find when these cases are brought before judges or brought to a court of competent jurisdiction, it doesn't go far. How do you see that as a challenge?
Yes.
And then let's also talk about the issue of vote buying.
Yes, I do not want to speculate.
Okay.
Because the judge is an impartial umpire. It is the quality of case you present to the court that the court will adjudicate on. If you bring a watery case, a case which you have programmed to fail, from the time you are bringing it just to observe the protocol of the fact that we don't charge them to court, we have charged them to court, and you send a case which is dead on arrival to the court. It's like carrying a dead patient to a hospital, then after blame the doctor.
Is this also a deliberate thing on the part of those presenting this case?
I also tell you that the majority of those involved in electoral violence are those who are close to the corridor of power. So just to say very strongly that when people involved in electoral violence, and you see it majorly during the party primaries, my pain is that apart from the fact that they are not only punished, either by the apparently you will not expect the political parties to.
But they are supposed to discipline them. They're supposed to discipline them.
But the pain is that they only celebrated them. Let me tell you, in the last election in 2015, we saw glory on television, and thank God I still have one of the videos. We see young man, one of them was a government chairman, distorting a permanent election that was to be counted. They booted the table, the papers everywhere, and today, I heard that one of them is getting off of reps. The party did not only punish him, they are now drumming for the young man that you are going to represent us in the House of Rep. Do not be surprised when you get there to tomorrow that he will continue. If we continue to celebrate the entrepreneurs of violence, those who are here to distort the system, those who have set our political jurisprudence back, we do not punish them, we do not deal with them. What we do is to have very shallow memory and celebrate them when the time comes. We will inform them that in the next and coming elections, we will continue to haunt them with the truth.
Michael, let me come to you, because there's a point someone raised earlier, which is that in the Ekiti State governorship election, for example, we really didn't hear more of much of electoral violence, because in his opinion, there were a lot of vote buying. Can it now be said that the cure for electoral violence is vote buying? I don't know what to make of that.
Mr. Sonny Duke, you see, when the people or the voters have put in a box, they don't have anything to say. Because
what do you mean put in the box now?
Because they've created poverty to sideline them. So whenever they give them money, they collect the money and they don't speak out. So when there's more money in the system to share and to distribute, so the issue of violence will be reduced. So if peradventure or ab initio, the other political party were able to also wage war
with money now,
with money, you discover that some issues or some skirmish of violence would have erupted from that.
But I'm sure you will recommend that as an antidote to vote buying and electoral violence, would you?
Of course. Why did I say so? You see, vote buying is synonymous with money. With money. So when there's too much money in the system,
everybody will be happy. So there won't be any need to carry guns and all of that.
Carry guns. Anyway, it will not help our democracy.
That's the point I wanted to get that. That's the point I wanted to get at. Gentlemen, the latest in our political space is that INEC just included 23 political parties, bringing the total number to 91. That's part of the justification for the over 200 and something billion naira that is expected to be spent on the election, from the Office of the National Security Advisor to INEC itself, to the police, to the Nigerian Intelligence Service, to the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. All of these are going to be part of those that will share that money for a successful conduct of the 2019 election. But I just want to get maybe in 1 second each, if you can, what are your thoughts on the new additions to political parties? Is it right for democracy?
I just think it got to show that our people are not ready to champion a new cause for the country. Because one, though the Constitution allows that, gives that opportunity, but I think at a time like this, we needed to come together and really agree on what projects.
What's your ideal number of political parties?
You know, we can have at least 5.
Okay.
It's makes a lot of sense.
Yes, 5 political parties, that's your take?
It's a welcome development.
The more political parties.
You cannot stop them from registering their political party, because they are coming in like they have their own ideology. So stopping them, you are breaching the law. So for me, I believe it's a
all right, Vice President.
I think it should be more of ideology based. So let's get political parties with same ideology merging together to form a formidable force. Maybe possibly APC and PDP can come together because they do the same thing. They can come together. Other political parties come together. That today we get a lot of sense.
Back here quickly.
That's what we do. You see, if they have strong ideology, it will be very difficult to merge. In as much both parties, I'm not talking about the ruling party or the opposition party. In as much the political parties do not have an ideology, they can come together and form a formidable party.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time with us on the program Politics Today, and the useful thoughts that you brought forth. And to all our callers, all our listeners, and all our viewers from across the world, we truly appreciate your commitment to Politics Today on independent television and radio. Michael, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Gal, we appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And Collins Amadio Saga, we appreciate you. My name is Sonny Duke Okosu, your host on the program. Be sure to join us again on Saturday next week for a fresh edition of Politics Today. Every Friday at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on ITV Satellite, we'll bring you all the juicy stories and all the latest happening with in-depth analysis on the road to 2019. Well, that's our time for today. Big thanks to all our crew members for making the show a huge, huge success. Have a great weekend, and bye for now.